Good evening, everyone. Congratulations, of course, to the finalists and more so to those that have won already. My name's A&L Laurent. Last year, my wife and I were both very privileged and proud to have won the MYOB Small Business Award. Gee, it blew us out, to be quite honest. We're just a small travel agency in beautiful Airlie Beach, and when the invitation came to come down to the Big Smoke, we thought, gee, look, we're already over the moon. We've come this far. It's been a huge change to our business, and I'm sure everyone can relate to that. But anyway, why not? Let's go down. I mean, we're never going to win it. Could be a good excuse for a bit of a piss up in a nice hotel. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe we'll rub shoulders with some of the business elite. When they announced our names, we were absolutely stunned. Probably partly because of the reason I fluffed my speech was not necessarily because of the aforementioned and the celebrations, but we just weren't expecting it. We're just a small little company up there. We do our best. We stick to a basic core value, a consistency, and that's what I'd like to speak to you tonight about, because really this is your night tonight, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me. This is such a huge honour to be here, to get this far. It's such an inspiration. It's how do you say, a reconfirmation of what a lot of you have been thinking about it, and, you know, small meetings, thinking you're doing it tough, this and that and the rest. But then you meet everybody else, and like last night, it was beautiful to listen to all those people stand up and tell their stories. It was very similar to the stories that we all told ourselves the year before, and I'm sure the alumni from the year before. It's tough out there. Small business, particularly in our category, in the business environment, it's pretty tough. So, what do we owe our success, as they say? Or rather, I'd like to share with you, I think, they're very simple things, but I'd like to share with you what we contributed our business. We've thought long and hard about this later on. My wife and I have discussed this. Many a long, very complicated business boardroom meeting on the veranda with the dogs at our feet and a couple of stubbies on the table. Look, we really sincerely feel that consistency is a very important thing. If you're consistent with your core values, in other words, you're honest to yourself, you believe in what you're doing enough that you can stick to it. And I think the most important thing is that it's very important to be able to adapt and change. Charles Darwin said that it wasn't the strongest of the species that survived, nor was it the most intelligent, but rather it was those that were most responsive to change. And in this day and age, I think that's more so than ever. We, in our case, a small example is that we live in a small regional area. We had a very strong feeling that the wonderful Whitsundays was about to blossom as far as the large Chinese tourism market was about to go. We didn't really know much about how the Chinese thought or whatever, but we knew we had to change, otherwise we were just going to become fossils ourselves. So we decided to go out there and try and find a couple, preferably a couple, skilled in IT and communications, Chinese couple obviously, that could share with us and help us understand the differences in culture and language and what have you. And gee, I tell you what, we found them. We found them actually working on a zucchini farm. A beautiful, beautiful couple. Within months of them joining us, our businesses boomed to the point with the Chinese market that we now have to employ more Australians just to keep up with the demand. And it's such a pleasure and such a joy to have these people around. It's such an exciting... combined with the Telstra Business Award, which is obviously the largest thing that you can ever possibly hope to achieve, helps you so much. It's reinvigorated us. It's given us a whole new energy. And that's where we're going at the moment. You may well ask, what is it that helped this particularly young couple feel comfortable about adapting and suiting to us, and vice versa? And the answer is that we sought people that shared the same core values as we did. Simple core values, strong things. Core values, sincerity, authenticity, honesty and caring. Consistency with these values, you just simply can't go wrong. And it really is not complicated. I mean, a lot of people tell you, you know, in business you've got to do this, in small business you've got to do this, and you've got to do that, and all the rest of it. And you get so confused sometimes. I think if you just follow your heart half the time, follow your own inspiration, that's what's gotten most of us there. You know, I've heard the stories from last night and other people from the years before, there's such a similarity. It is a challenging, hard, difficult way to do it. But when we get there, we feel so proud about it. I mean, it gives you, it's a momentum that goes further and further. This is where the Telstra Business Awards is that impetus to help you keep, it reaffirms that you're on the right track and you just go a little bit further. And it's a wonderful gift. As I say, we stick to the simple things. Consistency breeds confidence. Confidence with your customers, your suppliers, your staff. Just consistent in doing the right thing. Consistency in paying your bills on time, keeping out of any untoward incentives or brown paper bags or what have you. Consistency in always being fair and reasonable in all dealings with your staff, your customers. Believe me, if you stick to these simple values, you'll soon win the biggest prize of all, and that's trust. And there's no bigger thing in small business, in life as we know it, but small business particularly. It's not very hard. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We all have these values within us. So on a more silly, lighter moment, you're probably wondering, where did all this knowledge come from? You know, what school of thought or higher education led to this huge enlightenment in my mind and my heart? Well, horses. I train and compete with beautiful Arabian horses. We do crazy rides together, 160 kilometres through the day and the night. It takes years and years to get a horse that fit. They've got to want to believe in you. They've got to want to. They've just basically got to want to do it. And to be able to share those moments with them out there, it's a pretty special moment, you know, to share with us. It's an inspiration to both of us, if you don't mind me saying so. I mean, we're asking them a pretty big thing. We're asking them to accept a predator on their back and to gallop off wildly into the forest in the middle of a dark night. And they'll do it if you've got it right. Horses by nature are very suspicious. They've evolved over years, millions of years, with nothing to defend themselves and that sense of suspicion and a quick set of heels, which may remind you of some customers, I guess, over the years. What I'm trying to say is you can develop and adapt a horse to the sport, but you have to be entirely consistent in everything you do. Think about it, you can't lie to a horse and they're not interested in your resume. You have got to be able to deliver. You have to be entirely authentic in your intentions and your communication. And these are the values that breed trust and confidence. And these are the values that we apply to our business every day. Thank you.